I'm Sudha Jamthe, and this is the IoT Show. Hello, Philippe.
Hello, Sudha.
How did you get into this space and IoT, and a little bit about your background?
Okay, so in fact, I create several companies, and my first business was in home automation. And you have the information regarding the IoT coming from the house. Okay, I had a company of 20 persons that have software in the house and automation and so on. Okay, so that's the background. And I started I continue to make software with customers that ask for us personal assistance. And in fact, when we started regarding the request of the personal assistant, we discovered that in fact it was really sensible. In fact, the information and the privacy of the information.
So when you say personal assistant, are we talking like Amy, my admin? It's an algorithm.
Exactly. We develop an assistant, a travel assistant.
A travel assistant.
Okay. This travel assistant was helping you to start at a good time and so on. When you want to be a good assistant, you have to know a lot of things about the person you assist. Yeah. And this information are very private, in fact. And we discovered that if we use the same aspect on the house, for example, on all the IoT, you see, the operator has a lot of information on you, and if you want to give a more accurate service, you need to know more and more things about the user. More the precise you want to deliver a service, more you need to know very important thing, private thing about the user. That's it. That's why that's how we start.
So you found, from home automation and from your travel assistant space, you found the need for data privacy. So how did you think of making a data privacy platform? I mean, there are a lot. So maybe before we go into that, maybe you should tell us what's the big deal about data privacy. Why can't you just build that in? I know that, but I just want us to get to the same place as to why is it a big deal that privacy is an issue in IoT. Why can't anybody just build it? If they're smart enough to build a whole home automation system, why can't they bake that into their own platform?
In fact, data privacy, there's several aspects of data privacy. There's legal, okay, and in Europe, for example, the regulation, the law became very restrictive regarding the use of private data. You can have a penalty of up to 4% of the global income of the company, so it's huge, okay? And this is the first part, the law part. The second one is about the marketing part. I mean, if an operator wants to be very close to his customers, he can promote the fact that he respects the data of his own customer. So the second way is the marketing aspect. I mean, it's easier to sell a product if you tell to the customer, I take care of your data. And the third one is monetization, because a lot of people in the IoT world want to valorize the data. It's a dream of everyone in this field, and they don't know how to monetize it. They know, a lot of them, how to valorize it. I mean, how to make things better for the user and so on. But no one know how to monetize it. And in fact, with the anonymization, if you take care of the data of the user, if you leave the user the choice to deliver or not to his own data to the operator, he has the choice to do this. And so the operator is able to monetize the data if he gives a cashback, for example, or coupons or present to the user. Okay, so
the insurance industry is going through that, where there is a lot of information about our health, about our driving behavior that can help them reduce risk. But the way they would go about is they would give us better deals, better insurance premium if we are willing to share the data.
It's an exchange, in fact. I've just seen a big a study that was made. I remember it's Intel, if I remember well. Intel tell that 70% of the American, if I remember well, I'm not sure, but 70% of the American agree to exchange the data to against coupons or offer on things.
Wow.
Yes, but if you do this, you have to take care of the 30% less, the other person that don't want to monetize it.
Even the 70%, even the 70%, I think when they say, hey, if you share the data, I don't think people understand what it means, right? When they say the data will be used, they do not know how the data will be used, how creepy it gets when they give them a use case of how they're tracking them. For example, Nest My Thermostat at home says, hey, download Nest app and we will track when you're coming in and out of your house, different from your spouse, different from other people in your house. If you think about it, they're tracking us and they know exactly when we are in the house, when we are leaving the house, all our habits, it sounds creepy. But they are saying we are going to use it only to know when you're in the house to adjust your temperature setting. And if that's the boundary of what they're going to use and there's value in it, then a Nest customer could say, okay, then I could trust you with that. But how can they actually limit the usage of the data to just that? And maybe in an aggregate, if they're trying to find out, how much of customers in this neighborhood are using are at home at using the temperature at some higher rate, or they're anonymizing it, I wouldn't mind, because that will estimate how much energy needs to be produced, or they could go tell our energy company about it, or that would be value for me. I wouldn't mind that.
Yes. So I think on one end the offers are going to increase regarding the exchange of monetization of data, and on the other hand, the user is going to be more and more learn. He learn how to use his data, because I don't know the word in English, but
so they get more educated about how to use their own data.
More educated about the sensibility of his data. For example, if you want to be more careful about the drive care, you have to know that this information is could be used against you if you have to do things bad. And to my mind, this education is going to be more and more efficient on everyone. Everyone is going to learn about this. And so, if you add all of this, the privacy of the data is going to be to my mind, the clue of the data exchange between the user and the operators, because our baseline is the data. The data is how can I say that? The user's data belong to the user. Okay, I mean it's for us the only way to be able to capture the data is to make the user agree with this.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the premise of where you came from. So you did home automation, and then you did this algorithm for travel, and you found increasingly the need for the user to own the data, the companies to know there is value in data but do not know how to anonymize it, and
Exactly.
set the right permissions to get the permission from the user, and
Exactly.
how to monetize it. So
Exactly.
tell me about data rights now. I think we've come to the right place where you can tell us about data rights, your company. And it fascinates me that so far anybody who talks about data privacy is somebody who is either an analyst researching the space or somebody who's a non-profit. I have not yet seen a for-profit company come forward and say, we protect privacy of the users and help companies monetize it, and with the right variables in place like you're talking about. So tell me about data rights now.
Data respect, in fact.
Data respect, I told you I'm going to call it. It's data respect, guys. It's called data respect. Yes.
Data respect is a framework. In fact, we develop software tools, in fact, to make privacy as a service. It's designed, these tools are designed for IoT manufacturers and operators. These tools are designed to anonymize data and to avoid any re-identification. So there's many tools in our toolbox, because depending on the business, for example, anonymizing travel information is not anonymizing the same things in the house. Okay, it's not the same business. So we have several tools regarding anonymization, depending on the typical use of the company. But anyway, imagine the data of the users pass through our service and arrive in the cloud of our customers. Okay, so the operator, and when it's in the cloud, there's no link to the user. It's complete anonymization, and it couldn't be re-identified. Okay, so only the user can give the operator the key to open the data if you want to make the link. So if you want to sell the information, the data, the service is provided on an anonymous user. Okay, and if the user wants to sell his data, give the key to the operator to open the data and to make the link with him, with his private information.
So your customers are who? Customers are the wireless carriers?
Yeah, not necessarily. In fact, we have two kinds of user.
Okay.
It's IoT manufacturers.
Okay.
Example, one company that make the items of the house. You tell about the thermostat and so on. Okay, this is for us manufacturer. Okay, so
everybody who makes an IoT device or a product,
okay,
has information about the user because they make us download an app, set up a profile.
Exactly.
Or even if they don't set up a profile, they have our identity in some form tied to our phone, right? They have our identity, and that's how they identify us. And then depending on what the product does.
That's where our framework links.
Okay.
So you can have a thermostat without giving information. And
yes.
You can have the service with an anonymous profile. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the first group of our customers. And the other one is the service provider, because more and more on the platform, on the IoT platform, you have operator that creates service with linking several information coming from several devices. For example, an insurance can have information from my geolog and my heat. Okay.
Yeah.
So link the both to make, for example, a service of health coaching. Okay.
Okay, so these are not IoT manufacturers. They are creating a service layer using IoT data from various sources. So a bunch of wearable devices, all the devices on us, they could collect, find healthcare information, or and that could be a healthcare service provider. Or
exactly. And in this case, information became more and more sensible, because more and more private. If you aggregate information coming from different sensors of your house, you know everything what's inside of the house. If you aggregate information coming from several health devices you have on your body, or wearable and so on, you have everything about of the man, and you know if he's in good health, and so on. You get a lot of information, and more and information, very, very private information.
So one of the things I always talk about is somebody could evolve to be a service provider in the middle who takes two discrete pieces of IoT device data. So somebody could find my healthcare data, or my fitness band data, and say, oh, she is doing her 10,000 steps or jogging. And then somebody could find my information from my sleep monitor and find out that I'm stressed and I'm not going into deep sleep. And they could put two and two together and say, she's stressed and she's not actually doing fitness because she's a good person, conscious about her health. She's just running off her stress. And so a retailer could take this and understand that I'm stressed and I may do binge shopping, and could merchandise things accordingly to me, right? Which is so wrong. Just the example of it sounds so wrong. But retailers are trying to find information, very personal information, to give us exactly what we want at the time we would buy. So now you're saying that each of these providers, right, the sleep monitor or the fitness band, could both use your service, and my data along with other customer data could be anonymized. So we could be profiled as, this is this profile set of users who are conducive for this kind of retail messaging, but it is anonymized and it doesn't come and sell me, and it will sell me only when I give permission and say, yes, I want to buy those shoes, expose my identity and give it to me.
Exactly. In fact, you have on the show we have in Santa Clara, we present an app, and on this app,
this is the IoT World, right? The IoT World Santa Clara. That's
IoT World Santa Clara. I present a sample of the app where the user has a choice.
Okay.
He can accept that an operator make the link between several devices.
Okay.
But is also able to make, for example, he can make a legal law about his location. For example, why weather report need my geolog at 5 meters?
Yeah.
The weather report needs only 500 meters. Okay, so you can adjust the precision of the information you are going to send to every profile of the operator, and you decide if the operator is able to link the data you send him or not. The thing is to leave the user decide. And if you leave the user decide, the user is also able to decide to sell or not the data, because he's able to cut the link. Okay, he decided, and it's the way. If you're not able to monetize information that are not yours, okay, and the operator is not able to use the data from a user, if the user is not and does not agree on this.
Yep.
That's a clue for us.
So on your platform, you actually have that degree of detail. So you take everything, you create different variables for the privacy. It's not just my identity, but instead of blanket giving my location, I can actually decide to say I'm in the city, but not give the exact address of where I am, right? It could be, it's not like everything is GPS data or everything is lat long. You actually give user that granular level of choice.
Okay, that's exactly this. So the user, the thing is, if you leave the user choice, the choice is able to choose. That's it, and is able to make the link or not. And because he's more and more educated, as you said a few minutes ago, he's educated on this, and he knows that information could, more and more that his information could be used now.
So with data respect, one of the things you're also doing is you're not just serving the consumer, you're serving the company, the enterprise, which is creating these service layers, the manufacturers of IoT, also to follow the law of compliance and legal requirements for that particular industry or that particular country, which is a big deal. Because I think everybody at a higher level in IoT discussion agrees that privacy is important. Nobody wants to come out and say, I want to trample on the rights of the users and I don't respect that, right? Everybody thinks they believe in it. But and there is also the business need that they need to follow this compliance. Like you said, in Europe, they might be fined a lot if they did not do that. If it is healthcare data and there is HIPAA compliance and you don't follow that, it's big trouble and fines for companies, right? So it makes business sense to do that.
Anonymization, when the data is anonymized in the cloud, it's off the regulation. It's not anonymized data is not the same that identified data.
Yeah.
It's not treated the same in the law. Okay, so if you correctly anonymize data, I mean, with no risk of re-identification, you're out of this kind of risk. And it's also true for, as I told you, our product has three clues: law, marketing, monetization.
Yeah.
Okay? To my mind, the three. If you know how to do anonymization, you're able to have these three access to the customer.
So the other thing that fascinates me about your approach to privacy, going to the enterprise and offering a platform, is because it's not just consumer product, as in home products and medical products, right? Which is very obvious. We can relate to that. But I think with IoT, everything gets connected back to the consumer. So I've heard about this whole IoT thinking that GE follows, where all the products, the appliances that they sell, come with IoT sensors, and it is checking the health of the product. It could be my toaster. GE doesn't make the toaster. It could be my washing machine, right? It could be any appliance that I'm using in my home, and they make it assuming a certain environment that I'm going to operate. Maybe it's too cold, maybe it's too hot, maybe I kept it on for too long, or there are different situations that they don't have and they want information to be sent back. So what I've heard about this IoT thinking is they actually have data from all their appliances, from their consumers, going back to their central cloud somewhere and showing where there is fault, the devices are not behaving the way they were expected to, and so they could fix it. So it's a good thing for the consumer that they find out that something is going to blow up because of the way I'm using it and do a recall before it happens. But I would not want them to be snooping around my house and finding out when do I get up and put my toast in the bread in the toaster, or when do I do washing, or when do I do whatever, right? That there's a degree of privacy of profiling me that I would not want them to do. So technically, like any manufacturer, anybody could be using your platform. Anybody who's building out their own cloud could actually create that as a layer, privacy as a service layer.
Exactly. In fact, it's a swap. On one end, you want the service. You want to access to the service of your wash machine, for example.
Yeah.
But this has to be balanced. Okay, on one end you give information, on the other end you receive a service, but it has to be balanced. And today, especially when you have the operators that make analytics on your data, this analytics it became very, very precise, and it's your information, it's your data. Okay, so you have a right on this, and more people are aware about the risk of these analytics, and so to our mind, the thing is to give the user the way to decide when, if the exchange is good or not. If you want to have a more precise service, okay, I'm able to give you this. But if you take me a lot of this, I want to have something in front of it. Or probably some people, nearly 30% in the several studies we've made on this, 30% don't want at all their private information are used. Okay, so it's an exchange, but some people don't want to change at all. To our mind, the thing is the user had the choice.
This is fantastic. So data respect. I got your company name finally, and you're based somewhere in France. Where in France are you calling us from?
In fact, we have two offices in France. One in Paris and one in the southwest of France, in a city called Bordeaux, well known for this wine. That's it.
And how does one contact you? Datarespect.com, not org, right?
Datarespect.com, you can go on datarespect.com, and you will be redirected to magush.io. That is, Datarespect is a brand, okay, and the company is called Magush. Okay, Magush means it's magic. It's the origin.
Magush. Okay.
Magush is the word, the passion, from the old Persian word of that create the word magic.
Nice, that's it. Nice. Cool. So that's all the time we've got today. Thank you so much.
Hi guys, if you like the show, this is where you press subscribe.